quote that I heard, I'll probably mess it up, is if your marketing program isn't about to get you fired, you're not on the cutting edge of what you really need to be doing.
If you haven't been fired, you're stuck. Next. Well, we've got one more interesting case study to take a quick look at, and then this is a hardcore online program involving big brand names, and I think after that we're going to kind of do a deep dive into some of the transparency issues with social media. Jeff's bailiwick, so we're going to let him steer the conversation for a little while. I'm getting tired of talking. You probably have heard of these two brand names, Walmart, everybody on board with, and Edelman. Anybody not familiar with Edelman Public Relations? They're the largest privately held public relations firm in the world. Yes or no?
We went to their party last night.
I think it was 2006, a blog appeared. It was called Walmarting Across America. This is, back when blogs were more popular. Now they're closing down because you can, it's much easier to do 140 characters and actually write paragraphs and stuff. Too much like work. So this blog came out and it purportedly chronicled a couple who were going across the U.S. in an RV, and their whole thing was they were going to stay in Walmart parking lots. And the reason behind it is that, and out of the blue, they just decided Walmart because people at Walmart are friendly, and they get good food products at Walmart, and organic milk is cheap, and you get all the touchy-feely stuff that Walmart want associated with, and specifically Walmart. It was like their mission, Walmart across America. Well, there's a group called Walmart Watch, because every large corporation has groups watching it. And this group did a little investigating into the actual people who were, driving this bus and posting these things and taking these great-looking photos. And it turns out one of them was a Washington Post photographer, and the other one was his companion was a writer. They did a little more digging, and they found out that they were being funded by another group called Working Families for Walmart, WFWM. And it all sounds great until they found out that Edelman Public Relations had set up Working Families for Walmart, so they were sort of funding this whole thing, and Walmart was an Edelman client. So, the Watchdog Group put out some information on it, a reporter at Business Week got a hold of the story, it became a feature story. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, the term fake weblog or flog was coined because of this. And it was sort of a black eye for Edelman. They had to take a step back and admit that they had done wrong, slap the hand. And when I discussed this story, the moral of it is that there are no invisible footprints online. That if you're playing online, it's going to get tracked back to you. And either you better lie very effectively, or just don't go there in the first place. So if anybody's familiar with this campaign and likes to comment on it before we jump over to Jay Willie, we start going to why stuff like this happens, and how do people actually think they can get away with it. I don't think this is an instance of trying to get caught to get more visibility for Walmart, because you're dealing with the #1 company in the world. How much more visibility do they actually need? They certainly don't need visibility like this, especially at that time in 2006, which was a fairly nascent type of communications media. Playing this, probably want to make a positive impression. And this wasn't one of those, it was just a joke type things. The guy, Richard Edelman came out and said this was a mistake. Comments on this one? Yes, sir.
So you have to wonder, the comment over here about was it a fail for Pepsi or was it a fail in general? I think it's the same thing that you've seen here. The bigger the entity, the more absolute number of enemies it's going to have. Therefore, the more just absolute muscle power that's going to go on and trying to bring it down. So, the bigger you are, the more you have to worry about this.
Big enemies have lots of haters. Yes, sir.
I think it's more than that. I think it's
companies.
People who want to, shatters their image of Walmart that know that they lied to you like that. Whereas if it's like Axe body spray, nobody really thinks it much of them anyway. So it can only go up.
Well, and it's personal too. I think if you bring down Walmart, it's like bringing down Osama bin Laden. It's supposed to go intentionally. That's the biggest thing.
So Walmart equals Osama bin Laden. I like that. Tweet that. Finally,
I think it's also important to keep in mind what you said, it was 2006. Edelman's a competitor of mine, so I'm happy when things happen, but they deserve a lot of credit because they were pushing the envelope. They were the ones that were trying a lot of new things, a lot of new ideas, and other people weren't. And they blew a couple too. They learned by making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Anybody who's been involved in social media for more than 2 months has made some sort of screw up and flub up. It just, they are on a bigger stage, got a much bigger one there. So yes, it's still bad, but keep in mind the timing. And
Big mistakes are made. Think about the bigger question. I mean, does Walmart's obviously still around? Edelman's obviously still around. Domino's Pizza, and I think that their CEO did a very nice job coming out and addressing the issue of, the YouTube video that was made. How many people are actually seeing this stuff online? It is. We do have kind of a tunnel vision sense here. We're marketers. We're involved in the interactive space. We're attuned to new things as they come out. So again, to the world at large. That being said, 83% of the population is involved in one type of social network, either through a phone or through a website or whatever means they're choosing. But there are people online. This stuff is being seen. I think the issue is when it winds up in the national press, and that is something that gets tossed on. When you see the stuff that winds up in newspapers, that does get tossed on the doorsteps of middle America. And national press is attuned. I write about this stuff myself. To what goes on online. There's a funnel for this stuff, and the interesting stuff that floats to the top gets picked up and written about, and that's how